Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to PM with Kim, y'all. A marvelous and magnificent Monday evening to you. I hope all is well in your mind, body, and in your spirit, and that your day was better than marvelous and magnificent, and that you are home or making your way through traffic and on your way in so that you can get some wind down woosah time in, and that your day exceeded your expectations. I hope that is the story for you. So welcome back to PM with Kim, to my regulars who come and sit with me. Welcome aboard to my new people who are just joining this journey. This is PM with Kim, where I give you evening inspiration, try to give you some nuggets of wisdom, some resources, some things that you can relate to, use, apply, etc. So thank you all for coming back to sit with me. This is spring break. This is official day one of spring break. Of course, you know, the weekend that just passed, but you know, technically this is the first weekday of spring break, thank the Lord. And it was decent. I had no intentions of going out today, but my brother needed me to run him somewhere and told me last night he needed me to run him somewhere. I got up, did my video this morning, got myself together, and then he's like, oh, I don't need you to take me. So I ran to the dollar store and came on back, and I've relaxed today. I had to make myself, you know, not do stuff because I had stuff that I needed to do. I could do a little spring cleaning. I have clothes to tackle. But I made myself sit still today. And I watched a couple of YouTube videos, took a little nap in my recliner, watched a few videos, napped. So it was a good day. It was a good day. And here I am coming to share with you for a few minutes on this Monday evening, PM with Kim, and I ain't gonna hold you long. Holy Spirit, have your way, but I'm not gonna hold you long. It's gonna be a shorter one, I think. And then I'm gonna go in here and tackle these clothes, y'all. Oh, I don't have a lot of closet space, so I have to take my winter and fall stuff up, and so I got to take them out, bag them up, and take out my summer and spring stuff and hang them up. And, it always takes a couple hours. I don't feel like doing it, but the weather is getting hot. And I need to have the proper clothes. So that will be my task when I get off from here. I'm put some music on, put on my gospel music and sing and fold and hang up. And that's going to be my evening. But it's been a good first day of spring break. So I will take it. Nothing that I know of on the agenda too much this week. So I'm just enjoying not having to do anything or being able to have the flexibility to do whatever I want to if something should arise. So Yes. So here I am, y'all. It's my Monday edition of Mindset Monday. And I'm not going to hold you long, but I do have a story to tell. And so I wrote down this quote this morning as it came to my spirit. And I want to share a little insight with you about some new developments in my life. And it kind of lines up with Mindset Monday loosely, but I can do that because it's my channel, right? Okay, so I wrote this down. It says, the measure of a man or a woman is how they respond and endure when faced with trials, tribulations, uncertainty, and the surprises that life brings. So, how do we deal with trials? How do we deal with tribulations? How do we deal with unforeseen? How do we deal with stuff that comes up that we weren't anticipating and that might not be, that might rattle us a little bit, and we're able to endure by how we respond to it and our mindset toward it. And so that's kind of how I'm, lining it up with this. Our mindset matters. Our mindset matters. How we go into things and how we look at things and how we manage them in our mind determines how we're able to endure or get through them in a manner that doesn't wipe us out or makes us feel some kind of way. And so I say all of that to say I've had some recent developments in my life over the last week and a half that for, I don't know, the average person, it could have shaken or rattled them and been unsettling. But for me, because the way I'm wired, because God made me how I am, I'm the total opposite. I'm like, wow, okay, because I'm always half full, not half empty. And so I look at every situation as a blessing. And everything, I say it all the time. Everybody that knows me knows that I always say, I affirm, I stand on it 10 toes down. Nothing in my life happens by accident. Everything is divinely orchestrated by God himself. So I don't know how you look at your life, but that's how my life unfolds. And so over the last week, about a week and a half ago, I got a phone call. I got a text from my brother, and he sent me a picture of this girl and said, does she look like Dad? I said, absolutely. I looked right at her eyes. I could see my dad. I could see we got the same cheek structures. I said, yeah, it looks like, yeah, she looks like she related to us. And so he gets me on the phone with his daughter and him and I and this girl in the picture. And we have some conversation, and they say that they pinged on Ancestry.com. This girl pinged on my niece's Ancestry.com because three of my nieces and one of my nephews did the Ancestry.com. And so they've been getting pings about, this person, your cousin, this person, this, and this person, that. And so this young lady pinged on my nieces, on all of theirs, as a half aunt or a first cousin. That's how they list it. Well, we know it's not her first cousin because the age doesn't even work out, and we already know, whatever. So we're on the phone, and so apparently the young lady reached out to my niece, and my niece answered back, and they started talking. And then so we get on the phone, and she says, yeah, I think I'm your sister. Now, granted, my mother told me when I was about 15 or 16, she said, you got a sister out there. And so I was like, okay. She told me her name. She told me the situation, the circumstance, and, my mother and father were married, and he went and did his thing, and he got this daughter, and my mother ended up staying with him anyway. And she told me about the girl, told me her name, told me everything about her. And I've been knowing this for years and years and years. But what my mother told me is that when this lady got pregnant, and my father was like, nah, I guess, or whatever. I don't know the case. But the lady ended up marrying another man, and that man raised that girl as his. So I'm thinking, oh, is this so-and-so? So I called her name. She's like, no, I'm so-and-so. And I'm not saying their names just for the sake of anonymity. And, but so I was like, oh, so it's another one. I knew about the one. And I never, I always wanted to track her down and meet her because, like, I grew up with boys. I'm the only girl. And I always wanted a sister. Probably wouldn't want to be bothered when I was younger, but no. So I'm thinking that this girl now we're all on the four. It's on four-way. Me, my brother, my niece, and my sister. And so we're talking, and she's, saying that she, had done the Ancestry. She had just gotten back her results a couple days prior, and she was starting to reach out to everybody that pinged on her as a, a relative. And she hit my niece up, and my niece hit her right back up and was like, oh, okay. And so we're on the phone talking and getting some notes together. And I'm like, yeah, sounds about right. But I didn't even know about her. But the interesting thing is she knew about us. She knew about us. Her mother told her that this fling with my father, was nothing because she had found out that he had another family. So for years and years and years, she's known that she has siblings out here. I didn't know about her. I thought she was the other girl. And so we go on to have a conversation, y'all. And so she's telling me, all of the people who are pinging on her list, and then a guy pings on the list as half brother. So in a matter of minutes, I am now privy to the fact that I have two sisters and a brother out there. Well, I'll be doggone. I knew my daddy was a Rolling Stone. God bless his soul. I, won't speak ill of the dead. I love my dad. But he was a man who had flaws and shortcomings, just like too many others. And like I said, I knew about the one girl, but the other two, I ain't know about them. But I think my mother had an idea, and that's probably how they ended up divorcing because she got tired. Because the one sibling that I knew, the one sister that I knew about, she's older than me. But the two that just that just popped up on Ancestry are younger than me. 1 year younger, 2 years younger. So I'm no longer the baby anymore. Well. So there you have it. And so in talking to my sister, we so that was like Thursday before last, and then last Saturday we talked for 6 hours straight, connecting the dots, and the dots connected. And I had been saying for the longest time that I was going to do my ancestry test, but I never did. And so I'm convinced. I saw the picture of the brother. I saw her picture, and I am convinced. And first of all, DNA does not lie. That's the beautiful thing about it. And so I have since done my ancestry test and sent it in, and we just got to wait for the results. I mean, it's just me being that middle piece for the sibling to connect the other siblings to me, so that everybody, I already know. I mean, we talked and we shared notes, and I'm 1,000% sure that she is my sister. And then my sister has been talking to my niece, who is my new brother's daughter. And I, in fact, talked to her yesterday, and we have, been comparing notes and comparing pictures, and he looks just like my dad. Strikingly similar to my dad. So here I am. And it has been a good shift for me, because like I said, life has been life, and I've been going through some things in my life, and so this has been a good distraction. And so I called one of my aunts, one of my father's sisters, and was telling her, I was like, "You sitting down? Let me tell about your brother." And she was like, "What?" And then she followed up, "Well, how are you?" I was like, how should I be? I'm excited. I'm so excited. Like, I don't care how they got here. I don't care about anybody's backstories. I don't hold nothing against their parents and my father either, for that matter. All I know is that these folk are my siblings, and we've missed out on a lot of time, and I'm not going to let any grass grow under my feet to get to know my siblings and to embrace them. And my sister was like, she was shocked, because she was like, usually, you see these horror stories of people and like, "Oh no, you're not my sibling. I ain't going to talk to you," whatever else. And she's like, "Y'all have been so open. Why not?" Like, I mean, that's just how we were. That's, we're cut from that kind of cloth. That's how we come up. And so I am excited. It's been a good distraction for me. I'm so excited. We have talked almost every day since we found out. And I got to talk to my niece last night. And so we're putting all the pieces together, and we're going to get together soon to do our little reunion. And so it came to me. I mean, the story is already, my brother said, "You know what, we need to go on Maury." I was like, "We don't need to go on no Maury." We already know, but it is so many layers that are unfolding now, that I was like, you know what? I'm going to document this, just like I'm doing this channel. I'm going to document our reunion. I'm going to document our story. I'm going to share with the world, because there are people out here who are looking for their loved ones. People out here who are hoping that they find their siblings, that are wanting to reunite with long lost loved ones. And I was like, you know what? This is a story to tell. And so I'm creating another YouTube channel just to document that. So stay tuned. I'm going to drop it soon. But I got to also make sure that I speak to and get releases signed by my family that gives me permission to use their name and their likeness and all of that, so that I'm not disrespecting anybody's identity or their feelings or anything like that. But I can tell the story still without using their names and walk you through. But it'll be even more enriching to see and to hear the names and how things unfold. So stay tuned. I've already created the channel. I'm just not sharing it yet. And it is amazing. And so I sent my results off. But, in the meantime, while my results are being processed through Ancestry, because again, like I said, I am sure without a doubt, I started building my tree, my family tree on Ancestry. And so I was able to put my dad in, put all his information. They asked for his date of birth, date of death, where he was born, blah, blah, blah. And then I was able to put my mother in, all her stuff. And then so then it starts to build your tree based off of the information that you put in, and it starts linking it. So I went back in the next day, and lo and behold, my dad's people started populating. My dad's mother and father and his great-grandparent, my great-grandparents started, and you look on it and you click it, and it'll say hint, and it'll ask you the name. Does this match up with what you know? And you can say, yes, I don't know, maybe. Boom, yes, that's my grandmother. Boom, yeah, that's my grandfather. Yep, that's my great-grandmother. That's my great-grandfather. So my father's side started building, and I was like, okay, I'm so excited. And then, if you haven't been with me for a while or you don't remember, I told you all that my mother, and I got a story to tell. I'm going to write a book. I'm going to write a book on this. I have a couple others, but I'm going to write a book on my life story. But my mother was adopted by her biological family. And so back in the day, when there was a family scandal, the oldest sibling, took the, whatever. So my mother was adopted by my grandfather, was her biological something. I don't believe he was her biological father. I believe he was her biological uncle. And her uncle was the youngest. And he got killed in the war in 1944. I guess what was that, World War One? Two? I don't know. I'm not a historian. But in 1944, because that's when my mother was born, her uncle passed away. And I believe he was her original father. And then so she became my grandfather. But blood, relative. And then my grandfather had another wife, who was my grandmother, but she wasn't my biological grandmother. And so my mother, over the years, knew her mother. She knew her. She got to visit as a little girl a couple of times with her biological mother. And then when my mother became grown, she was able to connect up with her biological mother. And they kept in touch until my second brother was born. And then she said she lost contact with her. And all she knew was that she might be up in Yonkers, New York. And so and she always wanted to find her mother again. And so she told me her mom's name. She knew her mother's birthday and whatever else. But her mother's last name, we were spelling it. I was off. I was spelling the last of I-O-N, but it should have been O-N. I-O-N, but I-N-S, but it should have been O-N-S. And so I did a search in 2007. when I finally realized the spelling of the name was wrong, whatever else, I found my grandmother, my biological grandmother, but she had passed away in 2000. And my mother was always told that her birth certificate was sealed, but it didn't matter whether her birth certificate was sealed anyway, because she knew who her biological mother was. We had all of her information, but what she did say, and what we were trying to find out, is she said her biological mother had two sisters. She had two sisters, and she thinks her biological mother had a brother some years later after she was taken from her. And I can't even remember the name she told me. I want to say his name was something like Sylvester or something like that. I don't know. I don't remember. But she said she thinks she has a brother out there. But she knew that her mother had two sisters, which meant her two sisters could have kids and I could have family out there and whatever else. So I go back into Ancestry on Friday. And lo and behold, my grandmother, my grandfather, the biological grandfather, uncle, whoever he was to my mother, showed up, and it had hint. Is that him? Yeah, that's him. I hit yes. Populated his thing on her tree. And then next to him was her biological mother. Look at God. Look at God. My mother wanted to find her people before she passed away. She wanted to know her aunts and her and so she pops up. I've already, because I got notes. I know when her birthday is. I know what her name was. I know where she was when she died. And boom, there she was. And it was like, hint, is this her? Yes. And then from her was linked her niece, who is my cousin, the daughter of one of my grandmother's sisters. Oh my gosh, look at God. Look at God. I'm so emotional. I'm getting emotional now. I sat here and I was like, Ma, I found them. I found them, or they found me, or God linked us. Oh my goodness. So I'm getting ready to reach out to her. I don't know if she, will want to connect or whatever else. But I got a piece of my mother's heritage, her biology, and there's, and I believe one of the sisters, my aunt's great aunt, is still alive, because it looked like from my cousin's tree that's her mother. And there was a picture, and I clicked on the picture, and I was like, wow. So I just, I want to know about my grandmother. I want to see a picture what my grandmother looked like. My mother described her to me, but I want to see, and I want to know who my mother's people are. And so I am so excited. God does it big, and this is such a good distraction for me, and it's such something to hold on to remind me of that. Life is, and I'm not saying my life is terrible, but it's been stressful, and so this is a good way for God to smile down on me and say, you know what, see, Kim, it's all right. It's going to be all right. It is better than all right. And I am so excited. So that's why I created the channel, because not only do I have my father's story with my new siblings, I've got my mother's story with, her story of being taken from her biological mother, and that big question mark of her people. And now prayerfully, I will be able to get some answers, and maybe to connect up with my mother's family who are still here. So I connected this to mindset, because the question that my aunt asked me, how are you doing about all this? I am fantastic and fabulous and favored of God, and excited about the new additions to our family. And the one sister that I knew about has not answered any of the nieces or my sister. And part of it is, I think that, based on what my mother told me, she didn't know that the man that raised her was not her biological father. And if you imagine being 50 something and then find out the man that is not that you thought was your father is not your father, I guess that could be a little traumatic and unsettling. And so she has not responded to any inquiry from the rest of the family to reach out. And prayerfully one day she will, because she's the one I knew about. So it's interesting. Knew about her. She didn't know about any of us. Other sister that I'm connected with now knew about us, but we didn't know about her. And the brother didn't know about us or anything, but questioned his paternity. So here we are. To God be the glory. And people are getting answers. And my sister is so excited, because she grew up as an only child, knowing that she had siblings out there and longed to know us. And if nothing else, I'm so excited for her. I'm so excited for her that some of her holes are now being plugged. And I'm feeding her every ounce of information that I can about our family and about Dad. And I told her, you know what? He was a man who was flawed and didn't make the right choices and got himself into a situation, and she missed out. But, we're here now, and we're going to run forward, and we're going to build, and we're going to grow, and we're going to get to know each other, and we're going to love each other. And I told her, and I told my niece yesterday that I talked to, we compared some of our stories and whatever else, and I told her, these were my words, and I've been saying it, and I believe it with my whole heart and spirit. We are going to be the generational curse breakers. It starts with me, and it starts with the rest of us. And just because those things happened in our families, and just because those things have been passed down, doesn't mean we have to keep passing them down to our children. The stuff, the mess, the curses on our bloodline ends with us. In the name of Jesus, we're going to do differently. We're going to do better. We're going to unlearn some stuff. We're not going to accept stuff that's been passed down to us, because that was the stuff that was passed down to us. If it don't fit, how would OJ say, if it don't fit, you must have quit. If it doesn't serve you, it has to go. And so we are going to repair our bloodline. We are going to break these generational curses, and we're going to love on each other, and we're going to live our best lives with the time that we have left, erasing any of the past trails of how we got here. Not erasing them, but putting them where they need to be, and moving forward in our relationship, and just growing as individuals, and then connecting as a family. Good God from Zion. So that's a beautiful gift for me. Some people will probably, be like, nope. Yes, and yes. Glory to God. Thank you, Jesus. Divinely orchestrated. Because just God knows best. My siblings, my sister, her mom is gone. My brother's mom is gone. My mother is gone. Dad is gone. And I think that clears the way for all of the past stuff, and nobody has to be embarrassed. Nobody has to feel any kind of way because of situations and circumstances of how somebody got here, and all of the people that the key players are gone. They're resting in heaven, and it clears the way for us who are still here to mend and grow and build on our own terms. Despite what came before, here we are now, and here we are headed to some beautiful things, filled with love and connection and laughter, and being our best selves, so that we can move forward, and so that our children and our children's children have a better life. So that's my Mindset Monday. Things might come, they might unsettle you, they might shake your foundation, they might be tough, but it's how you look at them, how you face it, and how you tackle it that will prove your endurance, and that will work in your favor. So I am excited, y'all. So stay tuned. I'm going to share the channel. I'm going to be talking to my family, making sure it's okay to share names and pictures and all of that. And we're going to document, because we haven't met yet. We've just been talking. I'm going to video it. I'm going to make it a whole thing to share our story, and to inspire other people who are looking for their loved ones, or who found out that they have loved ones and, want to connect and whatever else. I believe that we're overcome by our testimony, and our example can be that for other people to latch on and to have hope. And so stay tuned. So that's a little bit of my story. I said I wasn't going to keep you long, but y'all know how I am anyway. So that's it. That's all, y'all. So I pray that the rest of your evening is richly blessed. I pray that when you lay down tonight, that your sleep will be peaceful and restful and sweet, and that you will have divine dreams, and that the hand of God will rest upon you all night long, and that the angels will encamp all around you, keeping you from any hurt, harm, or danger, and everybody in your home. And that tomorrow when you awaken, that you will be refreshed, revived, renewed, and ready to run on to see what your Tuesday will be, and that all will be well with your soul. And that I pray that even in the midst of challenges and trials and circumstances and situations, that the favor of God will pour out on you, and that he will cover and keep you and me as we manage life, as we navigate life, knowing that he is in control. That he goes before us, he goes beside us, and he goes behind us. He works everything out for our good. So be encouraged, and know that God is still in control, and that he is still in the blessing business, and that he can take some things that look like are otherwise rough, tough, unsettling, and so forth, and turn them into a beautiful blessing. So go and enjoy the rest of your evening. And be good to yourself. Be good to everybody that is around you. Yes, that's it. So May the Lord bless you and keep you. May he make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May he lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Peace that surpasses all understanding. Peace that guards your heart, your mind, your soul, your spirit, and everything about you in Christ Jesus. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. He is a good God, an awesome God, a mighty God. Oh, miracle, wonder working God. And he does exceedingly abundantly above all that we can ask or think. So I pray that God will pour out over you from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet all the love, the blessing, and the favor, and the peace that you can hold, and that you will be built up and strengthened to run on to see what your end will be. So go and enjoy the rest of your evening, and don't forget me in AM with Kim. I'll be here in the morning. It just ain't gonna be early. Yes, it will, because I got to get up and do something in the morning. So it'll be earlier in the morning. But check me out on AM with Kim, and stay tuned for my family chronicles that are coming. All right, y'all. Peace and blessings from my heart to yours. I love you. I love you. I love you. Have a good night. I see you.